38 special. Awesome.
Hey folks, Guns Gear on Target Training out here in Oregon. Before we get started, if you enjoy our content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. All of that fuels the algorithm and helps us get the Pro 2A word out to the community. Over the last few weeks, if you've been following the channel, you've probably seen us shooting some Pistol Caliber Carbines. You may be thinking, why are the folks at On Target Training going down this path around Pistol Caliber Carbines? Because there's centerfire carbines that are more effective and have more reach and on and on and on. That is certainly true. Centerfire rifle, caliber carbines have many, many advantages. At the same time, there are some advantages to owning a pistol caliber carbine. So we're going to talk today about some of those advantages, and we're also going to show you shooting some of these different carbines on the range. And what I'm hoping to do is at least plant some seeds for thought, curiosity, experimentation, maybe going to a gun range and renting one of these pistol caliber carbines, trying a friend's, and using that to gain a better understanding of its capabilities and limitations. Pistol caliber carbines obviously are named because they use the same cartridge that a pistol or revolver does. There are plenty of options out there. The idea of a pistol caliber carbine is not new at all. It's been around for a very, very long time. So we can go back 100 years or more, and we started seeing revolvers with a carbine in the same using the same cartridge, and the benefit of that, right? One type of ammunition, not multiple types of ammunition. The other big advantage, of course, to a pistol caliber carbine is it's a long gun. A long gun is easier to shoot than a handgun. More points of contact, typically much longer sight radius. It's easier to bring a carbine onto point at distance and deliver combat effective hits. The main advantages to a pistol caliber carbine are, of course, the economics of it. If I only have to stock, reload, store one type of ammunition, it is really beneficial from a cost standpoint. I can buy more of one type of ammunition, one caliber, and use it in handguns or in carbines. So that makes a lot of sense. It's redundancy that's built in when you have one caliber that is used across multiple platforms. So there are plenty of options out there. I'm going to talk about a few of them today. You can also go the route of an NFA item, of an SBR, short-barreled rifle, and that has some advantages as well. It has some disadvantages in terms of the hassle. It's not complicated, but it's just a hassle, the tax stamp, all those things. But the nice thing about a SBR is it is can be a much shorter platform, which again may have some specific applications for personal protection or home defense, or even transporting it to and from places where you might want to have the capacity of a long gun in terms of its capabilities versus just your handgun. So the carbines we'll be talking today are the Ruger PCC, and as people have pointed out, it comes in many configurations. I'm showing its earliest stock configuration. And again, great, handy little carbine, works well, has the option, comes set up for Ruger double-stacked pistol magazines, easy conversion. to run Glock magazines. That's the way I typically use it. I don't own any Ruger 9mm handguns at all, but I own plenty of Glocks, and so I can use the Glock magazines in the Ruger PCC. We're also going to talk about two FoxTrot Mike products. One is a 16-inch AR style with an AR style blowback design. So everything is exactly the same to what you'd experience if you're familiar with the AR-15 platform. Basically the same fire control system, the way it operates, safety, mag release, all of that stuff. If you shoot an AR carbine in centerfire, you will feel right at home on this. The other product we'll talk about is a SBR that is, I think it's a 7-inch barrel. Forgive me, it's been a long time. I've had this for a while. I should know this, but I don't. Which is also really nice because it's such a small, compact setup. Both of these use Glock magazines. So again, I have redundancy now for any of the type of magazines, double-stacked 9mm magazines that Glock makes. Whether it's a restricted 10-round capacity magazine for, you know, a Glock 17 or a Glock 19, or if it's a standard capacity magazine, so in other words, the magazine that the pistol was originally built around, and you live in a state that doesn't restrict that. Those two carbines we'll talk about. And finally, we're going to talk about a new carbine that just came out recently that I'm very favorably impressed with, and that is the Smith & Wesson Response Carbine. So quickly, let me show you, and then we'll show you the carbine. You've probably seen it, but I'll show you each carbine, and then we'll actually show you some range footage of us shooting these on the range. And one other carbine that my brain simply forgot about, although the carbine is sitting right to my right, and that is a very fun little carbine by Rossi. I believe it's their Puma. And the Rossi Puma is a lever action pistol caliber carbine, in this case a 357 Magnum. So this works great with my 357 Magnum revolvers that I own. I own a few of those. And very lightweight, great handling carbine, so much fun to shoot. Nothing fancy, iron sights, so, you know, no tack lights or rails or any cool stuff like that. But boy, this thing works. And it's fun to shoot 357, even hot 357 Magnum loads, because the felt recoil is easier to control with my handicap, especially using a carbine versus just a handgun. Up first, the Ruger PCC. This came out a number of years ago. I've had this for, I think, seven years or so, maybe 6 years. And I put a lot of rounds through it. It is, it's great. It's reliable. It's solid. It's built like Ruger builds their weapons. And of course, it has the advantage of being a takedown carbine. Press this lever with the bolt lock back, or pull the bolt back, which I'll demonstrate right now. I push this lever forward. I lift, separate. So again, being able to throw this in a backpack and go, well, that's really sweet. Has swap out. I can swap out the left, the charging handle to the left side, right? It's a reciprocating bolt to the right side if I want. It originally comes on the right side. I just said I'd rather have it on the left. And same thing with the mag release, which is right up here. Next, we have the FoxTrot Mike SBR. This thing's so much fun to shoot, and it's just very light handling, great for personal protection, home defense, because again, it's very short. So it's not like, you can have your carbine mounted quite close to the body, and versus a handgun, which typically with a handgun, right, you might be compressed, but you're going to drive that out. So this is very compact. This semi-automatic SBR is really, for me, a nice option, again, for personal protection, home defense. And the quality of FoxTrot Mike's products is fabulous. They come with some great setups here. So you got an ambidextrous safety. You've got the Warhammer charging handle, which obviously works on either side. A very nice trigger in a collaboration with our friends at AIM Surplus. So all of that works real well. The mag release is very big. It's right up here. It's distinct. Like, you don't have to hunt at all for this. This is this massive tab right here. So all of that makes it a very quick handling SBR. So for those of you who want to go the SBR route, something like this, and again, there are plenty of products that you could check out if that's what you wanted to do, to go through the SBR headaches. It's not a big deal, but it is somewhat of a pain. The big brother of the FoxTrot Mike products here. This is their 16-inch version, their 16-inch carbine version. And it's got a nice muzzle device up there that's very effective at mitigating recoil, or, you know, as much recoil it is. Blowback design, all the fire control setup that you get on a regular AR. Again, FoxTrot Mike really leverages this mag release button, which I like. Comes with ambidextrous safeties, which I like. Another great trigger. Again, this one from AIM Surplus in collaboration with FoxTrot Mike. So really sweet product, good setup, very, very, very shootable. And for those of you who like the AR platform, this is a great way to go. You'll note on all my carbines, pretty much all of my carbines with the exception of the SBR that I showed you, I have a vertical foregrip on this. And that's because of my physical handicap, right? I don't have the ability to fully extend my non-dominant hand and arm. I can't do it. I also don't have the ability to rotate my hand. So a vertical forend or vertical grip on the forend like this allows me to get a very aggressive grip on the gun, drive it back into my shoulder, and again, have greater control of the firearm itself. So this rail, the M-LOK style rail here, with its complete pick rail on the front for lights, lasers, other cool gear, sights, all of that stuff is all set up and ready to go. So I really like this carbine, been super favorably impressed. Nice, heavy duty, solid, well-made carbine from our friends at FoxTrot Mike. Last and certainly not least, we have our Response Carbine from Smith & Wesson. Been putting a lot of rounds through this over the last couple weeks. I think we had something like 550, 600 rounds. The only stoppages I've had are related to running the carbine with a suppressor on it and using some Blazer aluminum cased 115 grain ammunition. That's a fairly soft shooting load anyway. And with the suppressor on it, it just was not cycling reliably. Now that's not happened with any other type of ammunition or even the Blazer ammunition when I wasn't running a suppressor. So for those of you who know suppressors, sometimes when you put them on something like a blowback design like this, you're going to need something that has a full pressure load to fully work the bolt, in this case, the blowback action, right, to work that all the way. But other than that, 100% reliable. All of these carbines are very accurate. So there's a picture here showing the three I shot the other day. So we had this one, the FoxTrot Mike. So you will see from left to right, you will see the Ruger. We got a nice group there at 25 yards. Again, I was just running the red dot. I wasn't running it magnified. The FoxTrot Mike, I did put a magnifier on that. Got a pretty good group there as well. A little vertical stringing, but other than that, pretty good. And then the best group that I shot was with the Smith & Wesson Response Carbine. Again, I shot those two with a 3-time magnifier, Holosun 3-time magnifier. And great performers there. So why would you want a pistol caliber carbine? Part of this, and part of the reason I'm advocating at least to have the conversation or think about this or have you investigate this, is because after seeing October 7th and the Hamas attack against defenseless Israelis, The only Israelis who were able to successfully defend themselves were those that A, had a plan, and B, had weapons, and C, those who were most successful had long guns of some shape or form. So when you think about your personal protection, and when you think potentially about your community's protection, if some of the people on that security team have a long gun, you will have a better chance of keeping the threats at distance. Because if I have a threat at 50 yards and I'm trying to engage that threat while that threat is shooting back at me and moving, it's awfully hard to do with a handgun. A long gun, even a pistol caliber carbine, gives you the ability to have some standoff and still deliver combat effective hits. Ideally, in that type of situation, I'd want a centerfire rifle. But if I didn't have that, and this was all I could afford, like I'd only afford a handgun, you know, my Smith & Wesson M&P, and a carbine, a pistol caliber carbine, using the same magazines and the same ammunition, much better off with this setup. Now, obviously, I can put lights on here. I can add a laser. I can have sights. I can put a magnified optic on here. All of those things give me advantages that far surpass what a handgun can do. There's an old saying, we use our handguns to fight our way to our rifle. And the reason for that is a handgun is something you can have with you almost all of the time. It's concealable, it's shootable, and it does a decent job of stopping threats. I didn't say killing people, I said stopping threats at shorter distances. A carbine gives you the ability to do the same thing at greater distances. And for small game, again, this would not be my primary choice, but if I had to hunt small game, I could do it with a pistol caliber carbine. Keep in mind, there are a lot of people out there who will use a .357 Magnum at short distances for even mid-sized game like deer. Again, I'm not saying you should do that. That would not be my choice. I would prefer, you know, a centerfire rifle, you know, but a 30-30, for example, would be something that would make more sense to me. And there are plenty of other, you know, calibers out there. However, back to personal protection, the other advantage with a pistol caliber carbine is you can have other people in your family using the same ammunition and magazines as the handgun that you might have. Also, much easier to teach a new shooter on a platform that does not give them excessive concussion from the muzzle noise, and doesn't give you much felt recoil. Most people that I have shoot any kind of pistol caliber carbine say, this is easy, it's so much fun, it doesn't, quote, kick. They're referring, of course, to felt recoil. If I gave them a centerfire rifle, especially one that does not have any kind of recoil mitigation in terms of its design. So if I give them a bolt action rifle, for example, they're going to have much more felt recoil, and that experience for a new shooter may make them flinch, may make them afraid, may make them not want to actually shoot and practice. If your family is committed to the personal protection of the family, then it really makes sense to have tools that people can use, ammunition that is interchangeable, magazines like the feeding devices that are interchangeable. So those are my reasons for encouraging you to think about pistol caliber carbines. Let me stipulate that every single platform, every type of firearm has pros and cons, has limitations. They all have or could have a specific mission, which they're great in one instance, but there might be a better alternative in another instance. So this is where it's up to each of us to train, practice, get more training, and have the attitude of continual learning and, development of our skills. All right, here ends my full rant on pistol caliber carbines. If you have any comments, questions, thoughts, or pushback, you completely disagree with me, please add that in the comments. Let's start a dialogue. I'm looking to learn from you. Well, folks, that's all I got for today. The last thing, I've got some other projects that I'm doing and our crew's doing in December, so as well as the holidays. So we're probably not going to post any more content the month of December. It'll be mid-January before we're really standing back up our content. If in the interim you have questions, comments, please share them. If you enjoy what we're doing, please, please, please share it, right? That's the best thing you can do to get out the Pro 2A word to the community where we talk about safety, responsibility, and training. Appreciate each and every one of you. Finally, and as always, stay safe.
In this case, a Glock 45, 9mm, obviously. FoxTrot Mike, using the same magazine, same ammunition.